Good morning, everyone. So everybody is aware about the Swachhta Pakhwada. So from 1st May onwards, we 1st May to 15th May, we are observing the Swachhta Pakhwada. Every day we are observing some activities. So today, in this continuation, we have the in-house lecture on future of electrical vehicle by Dr. Pradeep Pachfule for uh, future and everything. He will discuss about all these things. So I would like to invite Dr. Pachfule to give a talk on this topic. Thank you.
Hi, Midilesh, how are you? Okay, good morning, everyone, and thank you, Mithilaji, for the invitation to deliver a talk on a really important subject in this regard, which is one of the important topic which is getting studied in the form of lithium-ion batteries, or even you call the renewable energy. The topic is future of electric vehicles, and when it comes to the electric, it could go in different ways. One is our lithium-ion battery, which is definitely one of the important thing what we use in the mobile sales and everywhere. And then another is a lead-ion battery that is also electrical, getting used in the electrical vehicles. The rickshaws, what we see on the roads, they are mostly coming through rechargeable batteries. So before going in, so we need to understand what is the what are the electrical vehicles. So in general, we have the electrical motors, which are fueled by the electricity instead of the internal combustion engine what we generally have in the regular vehicles, which is powered by the fuels and gases like petrols, diesels, and so on and so forth. And this has been seen as the replacement, not only because of the what we say as the pollution, decreasing the pollution levels and everything, but there are multiple reasons. So the first thing came in the mind that this was inspired by the road going automobiles. The two-wheelers were the first thing which were really fueling up this industry. And in this case, what you need is that having most of the component in the big vehicles, the vehicles which are with the internal combustion engine, the maximum amount of attention goes to the engine, because that is the most important part, which we take the petrol, diesel, or any fuel, and it starts converting into the it is burned in the engine to generate the power. But in this case, you have just one electrical motor, so that doesn't add anything much. So maximum concentration can be given to the vehicle, for example, then safety concern, and then you can have the mileage and so on and so forth. So many things could be controlled, because now electrical motor is only one component, and you don't need to think too much about the other components which are in the vehicle. And in this case, electric motor use the instant torque and smooth acceleration. So in general, when you use the internal combustion engine, so it takes time to reach to a certain level of the speed. But in this case, you start going. It doesn't take much time to go forward, and it is smooth in the operations as well. And when it comes to the refueling, for example, we have to go to the petrol pumps and then you have to refueling. But in these scenarios, you can do the charging at your homes as well. Of course, that comes along with having the chargers in the home, or if you are traveling, we might need the charging stations. This is something which is getting better and better with the increasing number of days. For example, in US, every 10, 12 kilometers, there is a charging station, which is smoothing this process of using the electrical vehicles. In India, basically, we are still struggling with this rechargeable charging stations, which are not available at many places. But nowadays, for example, in the society where I live, there are like 6, 7 charging stations which are already being installed. So we are working on that regard, but we have to go really forward in this direction. So, what is the ecosystem? So, ecosystem of the electrical vehicle start with, for example, you have to generate the electricity, and that could come with the different sources. For example, coal is one of the main resources which people still are using. But the challenge is to replace this coal or petrol or any of the CO2 emitting fuels with the rechargeables. For example, wind, for example, solar, and that will be delivered to your homes where you can charge your vehicle. And this could be done in the So in this case, major trends are you have to have the vehicle information where you can use the lithium battery or charging the different ion batteries, and you have renewable power, which is important through the solar or it could be through the wind power, and this goes to the smart grid, and the whole process starts repeating again back and forth. So this is something which is important, and then as a consumer, a lot of things are going on simultaneously, which I will discuss in few minutes. And in that one, technology R&D is one of the important aspects which is getting every day getting more and more attention. And as well as there is a climate change with the Paris Act, which is important also in this ecosystem. And government is making different policy, which is also determining the growth of this whole EVs. So going back to the history of the electrical vehicles, is it are these electrical vehicles came in just one day, or Tesla is the first one who has came up with this idea? No, actually, it is intriguing to see that the previous generation was much more evolving in better format for the electrical vehicles than us. Basically, 1837, first electrical car was being developed by inventor Robert Davison in Scotland, basically in Scotland, and this was being built with the non-recyclable. Like you use it once and throw it out, and that was the reason why it didn't develop too much. But you can see this car, and then it's not bad at that time of that period of the time, basically. And in 1884, after 40 years almost, the Thomas Parker, first manufacturer of electric automobile in London. Actually, this was the one of the this is the vehicle which he developed, and in 1890, just after 5 years, once you know that how to make the rechargeable batteries with the lead-based rechargeable batteries, then immediately this field started growing. And importantly, in this case, in Iowa, the first battery was developed by William Morrison, and thus introducing the speed of that battery vehicle was 14 miles per hour, which was very nice because all of these things we are suffering with the speed of the batteries because batteries are not that much powerful to run the vehicle further. So it started in 1837, 1890s, and nowadays we are running with the lithium battery, which is the most important source of the energy storage. So what happened? Non-rechargeable batteries, 1830s, and if you go back, since non-rechargeable batteries were developed in 1837, the electric car were developed using such kind of batteries. Then rechargeable batteries came in the picture in 1859, and because of that, again, if you go back again, it came in 1884. And if you go further, deployment of electric power trams was being done in London. And then in 1990s, when we came up with the lithium batteries, we started going really, really faster because now we don't have much limitation because the small cell could be used for the better energy deployment. Okay, so when we have all of these things ready, when we are in infrastructure, so what is happening? But why do we need it? Like anybody might say that, okay, right now we are running with very nice, like you go to the petrol pump, fuel your vehicle, go home. It's much easier. Why do we need to go completely a new era of the automobile industry? Just to take few examples, these are some cities in India: Delhi, Mumbai, Bangalore, Hyderabad, Chennai, and Lucknow. These are just representations here. And what you can see here is that the estimated death rate. So it is the estimated death rate, and then this one is the estimated cost. How much has been done when it comes to the this has been by Greenpeace research, where you can see that in Delhi itself, for example, almost 50,000 deaths have been where they are in 1 year. And how much cost was being given? How much cost was being spent on the medical? It's roughly 60,000 crore, which is a huge amount basically. And why this is happening? Because not many people are suffering with the impacts of the CO2, carbon monoxide, which is already there. Every now and then you see during Diwali, like the environmental pollution, what is happening around is very bad for the health in general. So 22 out of the 30 polluted cities are the world in the world are from India. That is not a thing to be proud of, but that is the reality. We have 22 cities out of the first 30 cities which are having high pollution, and they are already having 450 plus level of pollution index. So 41% of the NOx emissions in Delhi were due to the vehicles in 2020. And why it is happening? Because we are using roughly vehicles which are too old to handle, and they are generally going with the nitrogen oxide and their subsequent products. And 23% of small droplets with size is 2.5%, which is basically, so a lot of people having this breathing problem. So this breathing problem is happening because of this 2.5 micron level particles, which are less than 2.5 micron. And when you start solving those kind of particles that actually creates the lot of health issues as well. So health-wise, we need to have some replacement because we are not doing well because of the. You can see the background picture here. Your visibility is roughly 10 meters. So this is not a good sign for anybody in this current era. So we need to replace this all, and the best solution for all of this is that using the electrical vehicles. Of course, to understand that part, we have to also acknowledge that how we are generating the electricity at the starting point itself. That also need to be considered. It may happen at one point that we are all using electric vehicles, but we are still generating electricity from using the coal and petrol and everything. So that part needs to be taken care. But right now, the one thing is there where people are much concentrating. That part is that when you produce anything on the bulk, the pollution level comes down, for example, the cost comes down. So if you produce the electricity at one place where you are producing on the bulk scale, then basically each small vehicle is producing electricity on its, the power at its own. But we have, let's say 100 people are coming together setting up a plant to generate the power. That will have the 30% less pollution in atmosphere. So what will happen, for example, if you replace every component by step by step. For example, if you use the internal combustion is very wisely, just for the purpose that you can use the public transport and everything, you might decrease up to 15%. And then there was a boom recently. It has been said that you use the natural gas, and there are so many vehicles around here as well in Calcutta. There are so many around Pune, which I have seen around. They use general natural gas, and what they say that this will decrease the pollution by 10 to 30%. But if you go to the next level, hybrid fuel plus electrical, there are vehicles from Mahindra and other companies, and Toyota is one of the biggest player in this market. This is called as hybrid vehicle where you use the fuel. So basically, what happens that you use the fuel. In cities like India, you go to the signals, your engine is idle, but your engine is running. Your vehicle is not running. Vehicle is not running. Your engine is running. In that case, you can store the electricity in the batteries and use it for the latter purpose. So by doing that, your average could be increased by 1 to 2 kilometers per liter of the fuel. So in that cases, this is something which is important, which can increase the efficiency by 30 to 40%. The fully electric vehicle could increase the efficiency or decrease the pollution level by 50 to 100%. If everybody goes, this is the ideal number. For example, if 100%, that means I'm generating electricity by using the renewable resources, the solar, the wind, and maybe like something like hydrogen for that matter, which is generated using the solar energy or other sources. But the best one among this is hydrogen, which is fuel cell format. And Toyota Mirai is one of the products which is been in the market right now. And if you generate the hydrogen by green ways, that means you capture the sunlight, you capture the wind energy, and split the water into hydrogen and use it in the vehicle. That would decrease by 100%. So this is the best. In case of efficiencies, hydrogen is the best. Fully electric vehicles could be coming back after this particular type of the vehicles. But again, all of this efficiency at the lower level that are being considered, thinking that we are generating the power or we are generating the electricity through the combustion of the coal or petrol and petroleum products. Okay, so what is happening? These are some numbers. The previous numbers were in India, but how are we doing as compared to the international level? So you can see that, for example, if we compare number of deaths due to pollution in India, much higher in India other than developed countries. We are developing countries, but some of the non-developed countries are doing much well as compared to India. And the reason, one of the reasons is because we have high density of population, which is living in very small pockets. So if you compare even India with Pakistan, so as per studies, death due to pollution 8 times higher in India as compared to Pakistan, or 15 times than US. So these are really worst numbers in a way, and this is the reason why we should have the electrical vehicles in India, or some of the vehicles which could be hydrogen powered vehicles as well. So 5 we should go, and some of the 4 main reasons which I could come up is the reliability and flexibility, because electric cars require less maintenance. So once you buy it, the maintenance is very low. So because we don't have any engines around, we just have the motor which is connected to batteries, which just run. So we have just very small component which is to take care. So that's why its reliability and flexibility is too much. And new models hitting the market also offer more flexibility in car sizes, right? So that now the producers are concentrating much on the car safety for that matter. For that matter, Tesla was one of the best vehicle in the market, considering that it's safe, it is very safe in general because they have concentrated too much on the other parts than the engine. Because nowadays, if you take any internal combustion engine, they are much more focused that how can we increase the efficiency of the engine. But in these cases, their focus is okay. Now uh, one battery setup is there, which is giving you enough energy. Now you have just one motor, which where you have to concentrate. So that's why they can concentrate on other parameters. So growing infrastructure, you can plug your car at right at home. So you don't need to go anywhere. You don't need to stand in the queues for the refueling your vehicle. Affordability, of course, one thing someone might say that okay, electric vehicles are very expensive. Of course, electric vehicles are expensive, but when it comes to the maintenance and when it comes to the running cost over the years, you will find I will be showing you one chart after one minute. So in this case, affordability is too high when it comes to the electrical vehicles. And public health, which I think I don't need to explain it more because doing using these EVs, we are reducing the NOx, nitrous oxides, as well as we are reducing the emission of the carbon dioxide, which is responsible for asthma, heart attack, poor health, and premature death of the small kids. That's the biggest problem around here. So, because of four major reasons, which reliability and flexibility, growing infrastructure, affordability, public health, these are the four things which were considered when we were thinking about bringing the electrical vehicles in the picture. Okay, so what is happening? So the one thing which I mentioned here was the affordability. How does it work? For example, we differentiate between HSS, that is the home storage systems, and then LSS, large scale storage systems. So in this case, if we compare between three different models, lithium-ion battery-based two-wheeler, we just take a simplest example, and there is one with the lead acid, there is one with the petrol. So the showroom price, of course, as I mentioned, lithium-ion batteries have the higher price, lead acid has the lowest one, and then petrol have the medium price in this range. So how much it takes? Fuel consumption in running 50 km per day. For example, I am using the scooter, which 2 days I spend roughly 50 kilometers. I need to travel 50 kilometers in 2 days. So it takes 1.5 units of electricity. When it comes to lead acetate, it's more or less similar. And it takes 1 liter of petrol for 50 kilometers. So how much is the cost of petrol? 100 rupees. And this is around 11. So you go for 5 years. So total running cost will be 75,000 for this one. And this one would be also, no, it is more than that. I'm sorry. Okay. Yeah. So cost of refueling for 5 years would be 15,000 rupees for this one. For the lithium-ion batteries, lead acid would have the same, but petrol will be 1,50,000 rupees. So in these cases, saving after 5 years would be 61,000. In the lead acid case, it is 83,000, and petrol you are anyway losing this amount of money. So right now you may be paying bit extra money for buying the vehicle, which is higher, definitely higher. How much? Like 25,000 rupees. But when you come to the same after 5 years of the running cost, you will apparently see that you are actually saving a lot of money, but it is in the installment. So whoever says that electric vehicles are expensive, no, that's not true. Actually, electric vehicles are not expensive, but running costs are very less, maintenance is very low, and as a result, you will have a lot of advantage economically. But beside that, if I'm running a petrol vehicle, I'm like CO2 reduction is too much for that reason. But by using the lithium-ion battery lead acid, I can save almost 1.90 metric ton of the CO2 emitted into the atmosphere.
So its showroom price is in dollar?
No, it is rupees. It is about the two-wheeler. So like this Ola and others who are living around. So it's going roughly 1 lakh rupees right now in today's market. These are very roughly 50,000 and plus. And here you have like 1 lakh rupees right now.
The confusion is the picture is showing four-wheeler,
Yeah.
although two wheels are visible.
Yeah. So this is for the two-wheelers, not for the
Yeah.
four-wheelers. Four-wheelers are like roughly in market of 10 lakh rupees price and similar. Yeah, but then actually you are putting 10 lakh rupees, your saving will be even in more in that proportion itself, because the here it is 50 kilometers for two-wheelers, it's four-wheelers, it's roughly 15 kilometers in general. Okay, so the take-home message is that although prices of the vehicles are higher, but the saving over the years is much more as compared to the petrol vehicles.
Yeah, after seeing your price, Mithilesh was trying to buy one four-wheeler. So that's why he was talking.
Okay, so what are the government policies for buying vehicles? Because if you go to USA, not many people get the credit basically. So like you $5,000, $7,000 credit you get it, and you can use it for the any purposes what you like. For example, you pay with the electricity bill and so on and so forth. So is Indian government doing anything? So in this case, the Indian government announced strategy in 2010. That was just after Paris agreement and everything. Uh, to reward OEMs that vehicles with the budget of 950 million. But this was not consistent. Then we came up again. In 2012, we came up with the incentive program was scrapped. Here we said that okay, we will have an incentive. Then they scrapped it, but they said that okay, we'll reduce the cost of the electrical vehicles. And then into 2013, they themselves again changed the policy. They said that the National Electric Mobility Mission will plan everything by 2020. So then FAME 1 came in the picture. So this FAME 1 scheme launched on 1st April till 1st April 2015 till 31st March 2020 by the Department of Heavy Industries, and they allocated roughly 5.29 billion. But this was again scrapped in 2019, and you will see what I am trying to talk about. The consistency policy actually is the sale of the vehicles, and that's how in FAME 2, since there are not many things changed in 2019. And in this case, the union budget approved the outlay of 100 billion and taxes reduced to 5%. But actually, that was actually not a good thing because you were changing everything every 2 years or 3 years, and that actually impacted on the total sales of the vehicles. But yeah, still we are having the budget, and we have reduced to 5%, like GST to 5% by buying of any vehicles. And this is all about the government, the central government. Are any states doing anything? So, for example, looking at the higher portion in Delhi. So, in Delhi, they said that in 2024 their goal was 25%, which has not been achieved yet. So, they were giving 5,000 rupees incentive per kilowatt of the vehicle. So, if you are buying a 6 kilowatt vehicle with 6 kilowatt of the power storage, you will get a 30,000 rupees reward. And they give the incentive of scrapping and deregistering old, highly polluting old vehicles. They also give incentive for that. And they also added the purchase incentive of 30,000 per vehicle to owners of e-rickshaws, e-cars, and e-autos. And actually, that is the reason why in Delhi you see that there are a lot of EV vehicles always on the roads around. Similarly, in Maharashtra, the EV registration in Maharashtra 5,000. It was decided that it should be in next 5 years. It should be 5,000 vehicles should be running on 5 lakh vehicles should be running on the road, and they actually exempted all the road tax and registration expenses. And actually, that boomed a bit about buying the vehicles in Maharashtra. Similarly, in UP also, they rolled out 1 million electric vehicles across the state. And their goal was to have 1,000 electric buses and 70% electrification of public transport by 2030. So there are so many things which were states were doing independently. Similarly, Tamil Nadu, Gujarat, and Karnataka, as well as West Bengal, also have some policies for this kind of vehicles. In Tamil Nadu, they started welcoming all the electrical vehicle companies, and for that matter, like Ola is producing too much in like their main producing manufacturing hubs in Tamil Nadu, and they are also having around 1 lakh EVs by 2024. And in Gujarat also they targeted about 5% electrification of the buses. So recently I visited to this Sarovar, and there all of the major buses were like electrical vehicles, which were rolled out very recently. And Karnataka also have the similar kind of policies in the market. So not only the central government, but also the state governments also contributing too much for the growth of this particular electrical vehicle sale in India. So what is happening in India? So how is the market? So the government target of employment of the DC fast chargers at various corridors and highways is expected to boost the market of this kind of category during the forecast period. So in 2019, market was in dollar. This was the size of the market. In 2025, it increased to $13,000, and then it went up. The expected growth is 54.2%, which is one of the best in the all over the world around. So in India, electric vehicles was valued USD 5 billion in 2020, and predicted growth was 40% by 2026, and 44% beyond that. So Indian market is growing very nicely. So lot many new companies are coming in the market, and in addition to that, like some of the companies like Amazon, or what we see Swiggy and Zomato, they have their own vehicles which coming out as the electrical vehicles. That is actually boosting a lot of use of the electrical vehicles all around the country. So, who are the players? Who are the key players actually who are helping us to increase this infrastructure? So, in two-wheelers, the world players like Hero Honda, and we have some of the biggest players like Bajaj and all. They are anyway coming, but in India there is a lot of growth on the two-wheelers rather than the four-wheelers. ACE, Ajanta, Ampere, Avon, and if you see around, there are almost like 25 plus companies which are regularly producing bulk scale two-wheelers in the market. And since prices are lower, like roughly within 1 lakh rupees, the sale of the two-wheelers is also higher as compared to the four-wheelers. So another way of another transportation made in India, what we have is the three-wheelers, that's autos. So Bajaj Auto came up with the electrical vehicles, electrical batteries in these vehicles which are rechargeable, which are long durable as well. Electrocom India, Mahindra and Mahindra also came up with the rechargeable autos in India. When it comes to the four-wheelers, of course, the international players are different, but in India, due to cost, they are not welcome too much. So Mahindra and Tata, these are the two biggest players which are in the market right now who are selling four-wheelers. In buses, Holmac Engineering, Volvo and Goldstone are the people who are selling these kind of buses to the governments on daily basis. And similar case, we have SDVs as the heavy-duty vehicles also with Holmac and Volvo. So although not many international players are in the market, but the domestic vehicle manufacturing companies like Mahindra and Bajaj and Hero Honda, they are actually contributing for the production of the electric vehicles. So how did it went up? For example, you take a pictures. So here it is like two-wheelers in 2015 or 16. We almost 20,000 vehicles were sold. 16, 17, 23,000. 54,000, 1,26,000, and 1,52,000. So the growth of two-wheelers is consistent. So many of the people are buying two-wheelers regularly. But because of the change of policies by the government, as I was mentioning before, so there was a dip in the sale of the new vehicles in 2017 and 18, which is not that great thing when it comes to the unit of the consistency in the policies, which is actually hampering overall on the sale of these electrical vehicles. So what can be done is that, in addition to what I mentioned before, Kerala is planning, for example, 6,000 road buses by 2025. Telangana is also doing more or less similar thing. So FAME has given a regular growth pattern. Like, this is how your policy should be, but FAME 1 and FAME 2. When you are changing from FAME 1 to FAME 2, lot many people got confused among all of these things. And that's why you can see the dip in the sale of the vehicles. So one of the things which government might need to think about is that having the
Yeah, this is fine, but can you tell me whether petrol diesel based vehicle selling otherwise whether it is increasing in the number or decreasing? This is important.
petrol vehicles are anyway increasing.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
whether
are
this
now.
actually increases the vehicle or decreasing the.
No. Replacement is very less actually.
Yeah.
So nowadays everybody in the middle class families can afford the four-wheelers, and that number is increasing like anything. That number is increasing. But in addition to that, what we are concentrating on the very small corner here. I'm not concentrating on other part because that number is too high. What number I am talking about? 1,52,000 or 3,400. This 1,52,000 number maybe calculated for 1 year maybe for the two-wheelers. That number is too high. We cannot compare. But this is just a start. And if start is going better, like for example, there is something here. So for example, Norway for that matter. So it started very slowly in Norway. But now you see that almost 13% vehicles in Norway are the electric vehicles. You have to start with something so that you can reach somewhere. We are not decreasing any number by the petrol or diesel vehicles. Okay, so basically we are having more two-wheelers in the electrical vehicle market than the four-wheelers as well. The market is growing because now Indian players like Mahindra and Tata are playing a bigger role in selling the vehicles, which are cheaper in the price as well. Because if I want to buy Tesla price could be 1 crore. If I want to buy the biggest model, the best model in the market, which is not affordable to the middle class families or even for the normal people. Okay, so what are the electrical vehicle sales? In 2020, it was 2814. It increased in 2021, 5905, and the change was 109.84, which was a significant. It was making double in a way. So in two-wheelers, it actually decreased because of some accidents were happening all around with the two-wheeler. Because these are the people who are buying 1 lakh vehicle and if they are getting burnt on the roads. And another important problem was with the corona. So not many people brought the vehicles in this during those times, and that's why it was
Those accident was
sensors. Actually, what happened was, yeah, that day when this ERCI people were coming, they also explained that what was happening. So actually, these batteries get overheated, and these are not optimized in a way that. So in general, what should happen when battery starts heating after some temperature? There should be some sensor which should stop every single working vehicle.
It is the same.
Yeah, so because of the overheating, battery started actually. If you burst a small pin hole is enough to like burst everything. So and now these companies are mostly working on the safety issues as well. And that was the battery as well as corona. Both things were responsible for this, and this number was decreased because not many people were not out of the homes during that time. But this is the difference you can see. Four-wheelers are going better and better, and this number is even better. I don't have the right data, that's why I didn't put. But in 2024, that number was very good actually, with the Mahindra and other things around. Okay, so EV's component industry growth in up to 1.15. So what are the what are the vehicles? Like you have the two-wheelers, we have three-wheelers, we have rechargeable like four-wheelers, and we have heavy duty as well. So we need electrical motors, which is 1.23 billion, because it's all market depend on the electrical vehicle itself. Electrical vehicle market is depend on the electrical motors, which is the only thing which is necessary in all of these vehicles. Batteries, the battery market will be about 1.86 billion in dollars. Power electronics would be like rechargeable stations and the chargers and so on and so forth, and that will be around 1.47 billion. And charging station will be around 0.2 billion in dollars. So key trends are 1/3 of the EV power market will show from mid to EV buses in India in 2025. That's what is the expected one. 67% will be passenger car segment share in the battery market in 2025, because batteries will dominate in that area. And 15.6 million kilowatt will be the total demand for the lithium-ion battery pack in 2025. We are talking about the capacity of the batteries necessary for that matter. And 61% will be the two-wheeler vehicles segment share in the power electrical market in 2025. We are still dominating with the two-wheelers, although price is lower. Okay, so how it is doing in the worldwide? India is doing very poor in that manner. The share of the vehicles which are available in the market is 0.07. They are not even 1% in this time. So some of the countries, let's say Norway, 13% vehicles on the road are 13 on the road are which are powered by EVs, electrical vehicles. And important here in Norway, the sale of the petrol vehicles has been significantly decreased, because now new vehicles which are coming in the market are all electrical vehicles. Iceland is one country which is following. Netherlands, Sweden, China. China has a like surprising growth from 1.6 to almost like 8.6, 8.7, 8.8%. Because now their local companies have hit the market, and that growth is so fast that they are beating everybody around the world. And mostly in this player, now Germany is one of the players, and US is the more important player in the market, because Tesla is selling a lot of vehicles into that market regularly. Okay, so on the international market, in India, for example, we have Maruti Suzuki, Exide is selling the batteries, Ashok Leyland, we have the Graves Cotton Limited, Mahindra, Tata Vehicles, and HCL and Aditya Birla. These are the biggest market there. Either they are producing the vehicles or they are producing the battery, because they have seen the market moving from the petrol vehicles to the internal combustion engine to the batteries. And for example, Exide, a very small industry has been grown like in the last 5 years or something. So they are supporting some directly or indirectly by producing the vehicles or providing the batteries to the industries which are producing the vehicles. And so these are the most popular brands in the world. For example, Tesla, they have almost 1,90,000. These are old figures. This number have already crossed by 5 lakh by now. Audi is coming in the market. Then we have Jaguar, Mercedes, BMW, Nissan, Kia is there, Hyundai, Tesla, and Renault Zoe. And in India now we are having the Mahindra and the vehicles from Tata, which are also competing with the numbers in this zone. Okay, so what is the dilemma in these cases? We should all go, like, picture is all very nice, everything looks beautiful, but what is the dilemma here? So electric vehicles infrastructure hurdles, because we don't have much like rechargeable stations. If I want to go to 500 kilometers, I cannot start from the home and reach to the destination. So for that, that is the only thing which lot many people are thinking, that if I am leaving home, if I am not coming back to the same location back, that's not useful. So the first is the range has to be increased. Range should be at least 500 kilometers, which Tesla has already been offering. But in India, the range is roughly within 300. That is the reason why not many people are still targeting the bike until and they want to just use for the local usages. So 30% vehicles on the road roughly will be by 2030 will be there. So we need additional 16,000 crore units, and this will increase the demand. So what will that bring? That will bring a lot of problems to the regular users. From where are we going to bring that? It should not happen that we are just producing the electricity by burning the fuel there. Petrol. What are we doing? We are not achieving anything in that case with that. You are just making it on the bigger scale. Previously, you were burning your fuel, now government might be burning or some companies might be burning. So that is the biggest hurdle in countries like India, because if you see how it is different in the cases of Tesla for that matter, all of this electricity here generated with the green energy. They are either using the wind power or they are either using the solar panels all over there. So that is the difference between the developed countries and India. We need to find out the best way to produce the electricity in a greener way, and that's the target which we need to address in coming time. So in these cases, you can see that 1,38,910 crore units will be were generated in 2019 and 20, but the demand is this one, and so this is like 856.70 crore units is the shortfall. So we need to fill out that, and not by burning the coal. If we start burning by the coal, then this will be achieved. We are not achieving anything across this whole thing of doing the EVs and everything here. So how much we have electricity demand by EVs in 2030 will be this one, and what we have, it will be 26. We have 9, 10, 4 for the taxis, buses. We have 28, 11. So we are having the shortfall in every scenario. So now we need to increase, not only save the vehicles, we need to increase the infrastructure as well. That is one of the important things when it comes to the electrical vehicles in India. So how it will impact, as India prepares to achieve 30% market penetration of 2030, sales in the category are estimated to exceed 43% million, which is a stock of more than 250 million units. So we need to address this problem. Given that 80% of the country's population is electric vehicles, India is expected to require about 100 terawatt of electricity, or about 5% total electricity by 2030. So first of all, we have anyway problems with electricity gap between generation and utilization. So this is the one of the biggest thing which we need to address, and this is something which government is considering on the larger scale. Okay, so finally coming back to the conclusions, what is something which we should take home from here? While the EV industry expected the budget to be groundbreaking as promised, it didn't quite deliver on all the fronts. So basically, we required a lot of budget. Government came with a lot of policies, FAME 1, FAME 2, but that actually created a lot of hurdles in between. So government has announced the increase in tariffs on some car parts. So what they did is like they decreased the subsidy, but they increased the spare part prices, which is not something which is good for when you want to bring new policy in the government. So it is expected that government should completely nullify GST, appropriate to the 0%. Reducing GST and import duties, which will create the financial solution awareness for the EVs and reforms in the FAME segment. So FAME segment is not that straightforward. They are not offering anything much to the consumers. And some of the policies need to be changed. But at the moment, the price of electricity is too high and their range is too limited for the people to see there is a viable option. That's what I was mentioning before. Our range is roughly 300 kilometers in India. So this need to go beyond 500 and plus. And then only people will start coming up and then start using it on the regular basis. All in all, with the growing awareness, cost-effective solutions, and convenience that the EV industry is gaining, it's safe to say that future of EV is in the positive electric. So that's what my opinion, that we will have some good things coming up in the next 5 or 6 years or 10 years down the line. Okay, thank you all for your time.
My question is that which company is doing lithium ion battery producing full-fledged in India? Because your picture shows that Tata Chemicals. Because so far my knowledge goes, Tata Chemicals, they have dropped this proposal. Initially they thought about it, but they have dropped this proposal of producing lithium ion battery.
So in India, not many there.
And Exide, they have just taken up the decision, means not executed yet. Just yet. So lithium-ion battery, which company is producing?
In
that?
India, we are not producing too much. We are buying everything from abroad. China is one of the biggest exporter of the batteries in general. Panasonic is one. Like, for a lot of people are buying directly from Panasonic.
Because without battery, you cannot.
Yeah, that's why that's why marketing in India is not only for the electric vehicles. Marketing is also for producing the batteries as well. And this is something which, like, again, bringing back the discussion with this ARCI people, the company which, like, that was the local company which is very ready, like, they are creating big infrastructure and everything just to produce the batteries. Because we are not buying, making it too much. Only 5% we are making. These are all local, very small players.
Because Tata Chemical already they have dropped it.
They drop, and there are a lot many new people are coming inside for them.
Exide they have a plan to
Yeah,
make.
Yeah, but mostly, like, what are the bigger companies, let's say like Panasonic and others, they are also exporting to India. We are importing maximum thing right now.
Very interesting talk, Pradeep. Yeah. So I need to add a few comment on that. That whenever you said that development of electrical vehicles internationally, maybe you missed one point that 1902 Kolkata made the electrical tram for the first time, and it ran from Khidirpur to Esplanade. So that was like a big challenge. Even that was the first electrified vehicle in Asia. So I was expecting that you will maintain this thing.
Yeah, yes, yes, yes.
This is number one. And number two, whenever you said that this is very good, of course, EV we need. One thing that we are forgetting, that e-waste management plan.
Yeah.
So e-waste management plan, like in one of our work, we found that one lithium-ion battery, like a 25 rupees, is enough to pollute is about 1 kiloliter pond, and fish will die. And if you drink the water, neuropsychiatric problem will come. So this is so dangerous because this is something, and I also use that.
Yeah, okay. Answering this question, actually, when lead acid battery came in the picture, a lot many people had the question about, like, how are we managing, because lead is very, very, like, bad for lead. Because you have in ppm levels, you are done with that. But right now we are almost recycling 95% of lead every time. And that was the success of lead batteries. Right now we are in very ugly phases. We don't know how to recycle that. But there are so many companies which have been pretty well in recycling as well. So my expectation and my prediction will be this, like, there will be so many companies who will come with the solutions. We will try to recycle
There's a
the
chemical problem with the lithium versus lead,
Yeah.
because lithium is extremely water soluble, than sodium even, than lead. So lead will have some precipitation,
Yeah.
but lithium doesn't
Yeah,
have.
lithium also reactive, that is the biggest
So
problem.
that's the biggest problem of this.
I think the, another thing which I was like, before this one I was watching one documentary, and Tesla have a big plan for them. So they are having a program where you can buy your own vehicles, like, say your own vehicles back. They will recycle the lithium and then make the batteries out of the same lithium again. So they are having that kind
So
of.
the recycling thing is good.
Yeah.
Like if you recycle properly, then it will come to this problem. But Indian has a tendency to throw it out, and that's the problem. So Indianization of the technology, if you just go over there, how sustainable it is, that I am not sure. And another last point that I want to mention to this thing is I forgot. So maybe I later. Thank you very much.
So no, I was just curious. I mean, the cars, how much percent contributes? They contribute to the pollution. I thought it comes from industry. I mean,
It's from industry. It's like solar panel, for example.
there is separate statistics. How the this transport needs for cars
yeah,
or planes
yeah.
or something.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't have that data, which is actually important factor to consider, because look, lot many people talk about, like, solar panels. Okay, they are 100% greener, but we don't know how much it taken to take out the silicon from that Earth's crust, for that matter. But this is the same thing. Like, another video is here. So I actually wanted to add, but I couldn't. So in it's a place where they are, just taking out the water from the Earth's crust, and then how much lithium they are taking out in kilograms. So we are wasting a lot of electricity to just make the batteries as well. So that part should not be forgotten. Of course, a long way to go during the line, but at least something is starting with this one. And for that, not many people are even talking about, like, if you want to have the bulk scale, hydrogen is one of the solutions, fuel cell. If you can generate it in the greener way, it doesn't cost much. The only challenge is to how to generate it in the greener approaches.
So for Norway, context is different because they are using nuclear power
Yeah.
to these things. So that's why much more greener, and we do not know even how to do that.
Yeah.
Other questions?
Some gift is there for you.
Thank you, Pachpile sir, for giving a very interesting and interactive talk. And I would like to thank Director Madam, Dean sirs, and to make this talk very successful. And we have arranged tea from outside. Thank you.